Hi, I'm Rabbi Orlofsky, and welcome to the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. And whether you're watching over at our friends at Torah Anytime, or wherever you watch or listen to your podcast, we're so excited to have you along with us. We have a sponsor this week, and I'm reading his sponsorship. Hi, Rabbi Orlofsky. I really enjoy your show, which I get to listen while I commute to work. There are a lot of people who listen when they commute to work. That's better than the people who watch as they commute to work, unless they're on a train or a bus, in which case it's okay. But otherwise, keep your eyes on the road. Yeah? I'm someone who tries to red shidduchim. For those of you who don't speak Yiddish, that means he makes shidduchim. You notice that little translation over there.
Matchmaker, make me a match.
There was this old woman, she's walking around going, the red Yiddish. You know, the friend goes, yeah. Goes, who's the time? So I see firsthand how many singles have such a hard time. Therefore, I'm sponsoring this podcast. That through Schus HaTorah and Kiddush Hashem should have Rachmanis and send everyone the Zivug B'Karov. Wow, isn't that beautiful?
It is.
That is beautiful. And it's sort of keeping with the theme. I have an old friend, Noach Fried, who asked me to give him a shout out because he just got engaged to Brachi Markowitz. So I guess you didn't realize it, but the sponsorship had already come in before you got engaged. So Vaistas, you're the first recipient of this tremendous bracha. And in Mitzvah Hashem, there should be many, many shidduchim. Amen. And if you suddenly find that things are going well for you, let us know. We're happy to give you a shout out and bring you here to all of Klal Yisrael here on the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. And, as you know, if you take a look on the episodes that usually get the most views, it's always guests. Because there's only so much of me that people can take. It's been that way since I was little, you know. I used to make money from my music. People used to pay me not to sing. But the fact is that I have the schus. This is our first guest episode of the year, of our second year of the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. And I have been waiting a long time for this one. This is a special one. I didn't have him in the first year because I didn't know if I would keep going. So now that I'm here for a second year, I figure it's kedai to bring him in. We have with us a legend of the Jewish music world, and that is my good friend, Lenny Solomon.
Thank you.
Lenny, welcome to the Rabbi Orlofsky Show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure for says, it's a pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure being had. Anyway, but we go back, 40 years?
Yeah, we're talking 37 years.
37 years. I was 12 when I first met you.
That would have made me 10.
That's right. There you go. I always say if Superman can get a reboot, so can I. So anyway, but so you have, at this point you're an institution in Jewish music, but you started, everyone knows about Shlock Rock. Shlock Rock is a public institution, and but you actually started before that. You were foray into. First of all, how did you learn how to play?
So my father,
keyboard, right?
Yes, no. But my father, Olav Shalom, took me for accordion lessons.
Accordion. Imagine how different your career could have been. Accordion, yon,
I must tell you, all my friends took accordion lessons. Accordion was the in instrument. It was 1969. I was 8 years old. So, we all took accordion lessons.
Remember the A-Lot?
What about, I'm Lawrence Welk. What about Lawrence Welk?
Okay, Lawrence Welk wasn't really my audience, but
no,
in the Israeli, there would always be like these two Israelis.
Yeah.
One had a guitar and one had an accordion, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, anyway.
So I took 10 years of accordion lessons.
10 years?
Yes.
Can you still play the accordion?
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever use it?
Yes, I use it. I use it all the time. I use it on special occasions. I take it out for special occasions. But when I was 15, I started I took piano lessons because what happened was the accordion kind of fell out of favor. Let's say it became a little bit of a laughing instrument.
Polka. If you were to do a polka.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked. So when I was 15, I started taking classical piano. I took 3 years of piano, and then when I was 18, I went to Queens College and took 60 credits of music.
Really?
Including conducting and sight singing and theory. And so I have this musical background. Now, my father, all of a sudden...
How did you take to the piano?
I love the piano. I love the piano. Yeah. The classical music, not as much, because I played Jewish music. I grew up playing Jewish music.
4 chords.
Yeah, I guess it was, but you could use more than 4 chords.
I should point out they always used to make fun of Jewish music as 4 chords. Now I don't even know what that means.
They
I
actually
don't know about music.
They actually would say 3 chords: A minor, D minor, E minor, or D minor, G minor, A major, whatever it is.
They say it all started with Kalbach.
Yes, he would play songs. Just this past week, he would play songs with 2 chords, with 3 chords.
So someone told me that he actually said he really could do more. He was actually quite gifted.
Right.
But he wanted to make songs that were easy for people to be able to follow and sing along.
Yes, pop music.
I still remember his Am Yisrael Chai when he would sing that.
Yes.
You could walk into any audience, regardless.
It was humongous.
Am Yisrael Chai.
Right.
Am Yisrael.
Today's chasanas, 80% of the music that we sing is his.
Really?
Yeah.
Still?
I think so. Maybe a little less now, because maybe a little bit less. But the thing, he would write with 2-3 chords, because 3 chords is pop. It's pop. It's simplest form of music for the masses.
When you go to the radio and you listen to popular music, it's 3 chords?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Not Queen.
No, not Queen. But they also have some simple songs. Simplicity sells. People want to be able to sing it, and they want to be able to hear.
Most Jewish music today you can't sing.
Today is overproduced. I mean, now again, I'm at that age, and I was like, when I was 20 years ago, they knew how to write a song. And they stopped knowing how to write music in 1989. That's what I think. So I could get that crotchety sound, but I do believe that today's music is overproduced, and
you can't sing it. How many songs?
No, I don't. Sing? I don't. What's the last song that became a hit where you're singing? So you have this remake of Hatov, 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 Kilo Chalu Rachamecha, right? But that's from Ben Zion Shenker and Mudgets. So Aaron Razel, was it Yonatan or Aaron? One of them redid it, right? Or you have the Nigan Semach Tzedek, which doesn't have any words. So this is all old stuff. The newer stuff is not really.
Some of it, if you strip away everything, there's a tune there.
Right.
But you really have to strip it away.
Right, you do.
I used to do this with my kids because they used to say it's not true, but and I used to bring an example. Now, Ki elecha nafshi sarog, nafshi sarog elecha, Ki elecha nafshi sarog, nafshi sarog elecha. And they didn't believe me. So when I used to be on the radio over here, and I would do a parsha half hour, So I made him play it for my kids, and you can hear them going.
Well, that's the thing. Is the guitar solo, that heavy guitar solo. Right. You need to have that, or a good sax solo. You want,
So you started playing the piano. You took to it like a fish to water.
Yeah, and when I also went to a day camp in Long Island called Usedan. And you ever hear of it?
Never.
Okay, so Usedan had.
In Long Island?
I don't know. I was, but it was in.
Took you
when I was in high school. We didn't have a car, so we took a bus. We had a school bus, it took us. But it was such a great camp that I improved piano playing like 2,000%.
Wow.
Because all you did was play piano in the morning and sports in the afternoon. It was a federation camp. It was one of those. I wore yarmulke or baseball cap. There were a lot of non-Jewish kids there. And every time at lunch, they would have artists come and give concerts. So I actually saw Harry Chapin give a concert, at this place. That was a big effect on me. It was a big, I grew with my piano playing that way.
So you took this in college?
Yes.
So you can
No, this was in high school. This camp was in high school.
When you went to college, you took all this.
Yeah, I was serious.
So you can arrange music?
Yes, I can. And I have. There were 39.
You do your own arrangements?
Yes. There were 39 Shlock Rock albums.
You do it by yourself?
Yeah.
You're the lone arranger.
The lone arranger.
There you go.
Anyway, I'll be the straight man. So, but then I was 20 years old, and I got a phone call from Avi Feinberg. Avi Feinberg, my first drummer, and he said to me, "Lenny, how'd you like to go to an NCSY Shabbaton?" And I said, "What's NCSY?" Because I grew up from birth,
Right.
but with its own youth center in Kew Gardens,
Right.
and it was a Yekashul. It was
Fun
so
people.
Let me just tell you something. They did not take kindly to a Barbanel. They were not happy about it.
Not happy about it.
No, but that's where I came from. I knew Nusach Tefillah like crazy. All the Nusach Tefillah. I learned all 5 Megillas. I became a Balkori from 17 to 22. Every parsha from the age of 17 to 22.
You daven for the Yamid?
Yes, of course. Yamim Noraim now too. I do. Over 30 years I daven for the Yamid. Wow. But the thing is that I always tell people you can't go out of the box until you've been in the box. You need to learn the rules.
That's a big problem with a lot of people because they're coming in and they don't know what reality is. You know, here's a deep cut for you. There was a guy called the Great Ballantyne. He was actually he was on McHale's Navy. He was the guy who was like the con man.
Yeah.
Anyway, he used to do a parody in vaudeville. He used to do a parody of a magician, and he would do like he was a magician, but all the tricks would go wrong. You know. He says he'd show up in a town where they hadn't seen a magician. They just thought he was a bad magician. If you don't know what you're parodying, if you don't know where you're coming from, then you don't appreciate it.
Right.
Anyway, so you're in the box.
I was in the box. And then in 81, I started playing NCSY Shabbatons. And I would watch...
That's the end of your life.
I watched people get up on chairs on Shabbos, and they would go, let's go to the shul and daven.
Anyone we're thinking of?
Yeah, it would be you. And then they did other things. And then other people did things. And I said, I can do this. And that's how Shlock Rock, the original, was born.
Now, you know where I got it from?
But, yeah, where'd you get it from?
I got it from, there was a guy, Rabbi Effie Buchwald.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him?
Sure.
And he used to do YU seminar. And he would do this at the YU seminar. He would dress up, he'd call himself the Fuller Buller Rebbe, and he would sing parodies. These were the originals. Imagine me, a Rav, my love. I go to shul all night and day and sit and pray, and like a field of grass we'd sway, and then we'd say, Hi l'chaim. Or the first one was Shake It Up Zadie.
Yes.
Shake it up Zadie now, shake it up Zadie.
And I think Zale Newman wrote that. Was he Zale Newman or it was the original Uncle Maishi?
Really?
Yeah. Who wrote that? But I think it was Zale Newman.
And I used to see him stand on a chair and do this, and it was, the Ruach dancing part, again, only gets you into it if you're already there.
Right.
But if not, this kind of thing would be a tremendous catalyst. So that's why
I always used to say this was the conduit from the secular world to the world of Jewish music, was Shlock Rock, or was parodies, Rechlitzer Rejects, Country Yossi and the Stiebelhoppers, all those guys that I grew up on, and then I was somech on them. And so I started writing my own. But before that, there was Kesher. So Kesher was my Hasidic band, and with Tzvi Pill was my partner, and then we had Joey Friedman, we had Shlomo Horowitz, and then Shlomo left the band, and Yonah Lloyd came in, and then Joey left the band, and Jonathan Rimber came in. So we had 3 albums.
But you got into trouble with that one too, because you put in a parody.
Hit me with your best shot. Oh, I got in trouble with that.
Steig away.
I got a lot of pushback.
You gave a Ki'ilu. Now, the truth is...
But I didn't know that this was going to be a career.
In Devekis, right? Devekis, which is so mainstream, they had this song, Oh, Jishama B'Yare Yehuda, Oh, Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Yeah, I do.
What do you do with the drunken sailor? What do you do with the drunken sailor? What do you do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
So this is the origins. These are the origins of Jewish music, which is a lot of it is taken from European, from Kaiser marches, from...
I heard that the Enkel Elkeinu that everyone did was a Napoleonic march.
I don't know if I heard Ma'oz Tzur was a Gregorian chant. Na, 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 right? And Adon Olam. Na, 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 na. In other words, this is all... But all of our...
Here, Enkel Elkeinu was a march. Enkel Elkeinu, right?
Well, we have been in exile for 2,000 years, so we've been running around from country to country.
Right.
The playbook.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Sephardic music sounds Arabic.
Of Yes, and not only that,
You never hear them going, oi, oi, oi.
and they would say, and the Sfaradim would say, they would say it is an obligation of the Jewish musician to take the best Arabic songs and put it to words of the Tefillah and the words of the Zmirot. And that,
Like,
I read it
ya,
inside the Syrian Jewish community. Well, I don't think.
I think that's an Arabic song.
I don't think it might be, but I don't think I think Eighth Day came up with that on their own.
Oh my gosh!
But and so
you're with Kesha.
yes, on Kesher I wrote V'samachta bechagecha.
That's a famous one.
That became a standard.
I don't know why people don't do more of a Samach B'Chagecha. I mentioned this in my Sukkot podcast that there's only one Harachamanu Yokim Sukkot Daven Nefalis, and it is so annoying.
Really?
Where's it from? You even know where
That's
it's from?
Kalbach. Harachamanu Yakim Lahanu.
Right. How long can you sing that before your skin starts to crawl?
Well, all of the songs are like that. You can't sing all these songs. Sometimes,
I was at a Simchas Torah where they sang Tzave Yeshua's Yaakov
for 1 hour straight.
45, right?
Yes.
45 minutes straight.
I was this past.
I've seen Moshe Emes V'Saraso Emes. I've seen them sing that also.
Right.
45 minutes straight.
That's right.
But how long did you sing a Yokim Sukkot Nefalis? Because it's basically the same tune, just in a different key.
Rami Strasberg is a sax player, but he plays in a band. He told me he was at the Karlin Stullen Simchas Beis Showeva with the band, and they played the same song for 1 hour.
Right.
And he said it was unbelievable. I go, what do you mean it was unbelievable? You must have been bored out of your mind.
No.
How do you keep doing the same thing over and
but
over and over again?
That's a gift to be able to have a song that can do that. You know
what song that is? You know what the song? Hashreinu Matov
Right. All those things.
You don't even know how to get out of it. Once you get into it, it never ends. On and on and on.
All the Simchas Torah classics are like that. Because you can dance forever, But Libin Yamin Amar, how long can you sing that for?
Right. That you know what? That was you know that album, Living Yom and Amar, was on the Chazak album from Avraham Fried. 5 hit songs out of the 10 sold 100,000 copies. That broke records.
Really?
Yes, it was because that was Chazak, the Nit Chazak. I don't know what else was on there. But there were 5 hit songs on that album. Now.
When you go to a chasana, though,
but you don't sing Living Yamin anymore. Living Yamin is not a class. It didn't make it into the
They sang it here more because of Netanyahu.
Oh, that's right. That's right. When he became prime minister. Yes.
He came with a theme song. I don't. If somebody wants to write me a theme song, I am open. It's the Rabbi Orlofsky show.
I'll have one for you next week.
Anyway, so you have Kesher, and you couldn't hold on to band members.
Well, we had a turnover. It was very interesting. We had a turnover. It was very unusual.
I went to the bakery, I had a turnover. Anyway, yeah.
But then I put out the Shlock Rock album.
Now, how did that come?
So that was in between albums.
So you put in one parody on.
We did,
Kesher,
right?
And
But then
you did one parody. You got into trouble, so that said,
I didn't get into trouble.
Maybe I should do a lot more of this.
No, I didn't. I didn't really get into trouble. I just heard rumors. I heard rumors that they don't like this.
I heard people would take the album
and erase the last song. Yes,
song.
I got that.
Right.
I don't want to say which yeshiva did that, but I heard because it's not.
So that inspired you now to do a whole album of this.
Well, you see, the thing was like this.
But there was nobody who was doing this for real. In other words,
nobody was touring.
Put out
they weren't touring. They put out a bunch of albums.
How many Country Yossi?
At least 4 or 5.
Really?
I think.
That many?
Yeah, but they weren't touring. In other words, they were really in New York and Brooklyn. See, the thing is about Shlock Rock, the greatest thing about it is that I have played all 50 states. I've played 2,000 shows. I've been to South Africa 9 times, with you once in South Africa, and 8 times in Australia, and 20 times in England, and Canada, every city except for Winnipeg. Haven't been to Winnipeg yet. It's too cold.
You hear that, Winnipeg?
Too cold. Too cold in Winnipeg. Okay, if you invite me, I'll come. But anyway,
I would never go there.
I'll bring my winter jacket. I'll bring my winter jacket. I'll even go to a Winnipeg Jets game if you want me to. Anyway, so the
Did you go to Edmonton?
Yes, and Calgary.
And you're worried about Winnipeg?
Vancouver.
You think Winnipeg is cold?
Oh, Calgary was freezing. Calgary was so cold.
How cold was it?
Oh, it was so cold that. Anyway, I don't know the punchline to that.
I mean, anyway.
But the thing is that Shlock Rock. What happened was with Shlock Rock, because Shlock Rock was supposed to be a comedy album. Right. I said, okay, I'm going to go with my friends. We're going to make this album. Now, here's the thing.
Now, what's interesting? The Reckless of Rejects was just straight late Sundays.
There was
nothing in it that had any redeeming.
Comedy.
Right, but there was nothing redeeming in it.
No, well, I don't.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Country Yossi had that song Deaf Man in the Stiebel.
Yeah, which you loved.
That's a powerful
No, they
song.
have a lot of powerful songs. Country has had a lot of powerful songs, but they didn't really tour so much outside of Brooklyn College, Queens College. So I had this in me that I loved Jews, and I loved meeting.
That Kiruv thing.
Yes, because from 81 to 88, I did all the regions. And it started with New York region, and you were my second region, Long Island region. Then I went to Seaboard, then I went to Virginia, then I went to Central East and Canada, and all these, every place. I went
Amazing that Virginia used to be its own region.
Oh, Virginia was, yeah. It was great.
Like 2 cities.
Richmond and Norfolk and Newport News, those 3. But anyway, so what happened is that I put out this album, Shlock Rock. I thought it would be comedy. And then 3 months later, I get this letter. Dear Lenny, my brother who hates Judaism is listening to your album around the clock. Keep up the good work. And then I got another letter like that. And then I got a letter that said, if the Abarbanel knew what you did to his name, he'd be rolling in his grave. And then I said, wow. First thing is, I didn't even think anybody would...
The Abarbanel had a lot more problems than your song.
Exactly. First thing is, his name is Abravanel. The
Inquisition was after him. He was running for...
I didn't even pronounce it right. It's Abravanel. It's like a Bravanel, right? It's not a Barbanel.
Not when I grew up.
Really? When I grew up, it was a Barbanel too.
When I grew up, it was the Barbanel. Barbanel, we think you're swell. Barbanel.
You got me yearning for the learning, reaching for the teaching, Barbanel.
Barbanel.
So once I got those letters, I said to myself, wow, maybe that's what this is for. So I put out a second album that had under the chuppah, and Achashverosh, and then I started getting calls for concerts. Now this is in between Kesher 2 and Kesher 3. Kesher 3 came out, it was called Chazaka. And it was the last album that I would do with Kesher, and the last album that we put out, because Shlock Rock became its own living in January of 1988. And this is what I went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I had no plan to do this. I had no plan.
You were an accountant.
Well, no, I had left accounting in 85. So from 85 already, I'm doing only music.
Do you regret that?
No, are you kidding?
You could have been an accountant.
First thing is, I still do accounting. Why? Because I do my own books.
Okay, but come on, But I'm also an accountant. I got to figure out how much money my kids are spending. I don't even stand a chance.
Right. Well, we all know this.
In fact, when people give me money, I just burn it. I don't even waste my time. I know I'm never going to see it.
Hand it off. Next. Yeah, so the thing is that, so the Kadosh Baruch Hu said, this is what you're going to do. I had no advertising, no demographics, no business plan, anything.
Back up the truck. What did your parents say?
So this
they
is the
spent all this money to send you to school.
No, so
you were an accountant. You had a real job. You were on the track to becoming an actual normal person. And suddenly you say, "Mom, Dad, I've decided to leave accounting and to develop a band called Shlock Rock to do parody albums."
So this is what people don't understand.
and then they like sit on the floor. And they light a candle. And they was like,
my father brought me in when I was 18, and he said, "Label." Because my name is Label, Arya Label. I want you to go to Juilliard.
You have your own label.
Exactly. When you says Libby's on the label, you will like it on the table. And that's why I became Lenny. That is why I became Lenny. I was in 6th grade when that commercial came out. Anyway, so the thing is that what happened is that my father called me in. I was 18. He said, I want you to go to Juilliard, get your master's in music, and become a full-time musician. This is what he told me. I said, Dad, how am I going to make a living? And this is the proof that no 18-year-old kid ever listens to their parents. I went to Queens College. I majored in accounting. He told me to become a full-time musician, so he knew. He knew that I had this talent, but I didn't expect it. How do you make a living in music? So there were 5 people making a living in music at that time doing concerts.
My father called me when I was 18. He said, "You're a low yutzlach. If I don't support you, you're going to be a failure your entire life and never succeed at anything."
No, you didn't say.
Of course he did.
Oh.
And I really tried to live up to that. Anyway.
So, well, you've surpassed it.
All right.
You surpassed
it. I'm okay. Don't worry.
So, all I could tell...
Every now and then I cry in my sleep, but it's nothing anyway.
So somehow my father knew I would become a full-time musician. And when I was 24 and I left accounting and I picked music, he was very happy. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu basically tripled my salary from year one as a third-year accountant who hadn't passed the CPA to a first-year musician, and I never looked back, and I just kept going and going and going, and that was the miracle. I mean, I told you that I wanted to talk about Hashem because Hashem sets everything up. He set everything up for me.
Now, how many concerts did you do a year?
100 shows a year from 88 to 96. And that doesn't even include when I was in Gypsy and I was doing public schools. I would do something, at each place I could have done 3 concerts, because you played, if you go to a school, you play first and kindergarten through 4th and 5th through 8th and 9th through 12th. They break it up because you're not going to play the same songs for each one. And it became a living. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. So there I was.
Well, that was back when people used to buy albums.
Yes. So that was it's a big problem now. People should know the impact of nobody buying music anymore, only taking downloads, is that I personally had to create a 501c3 so that I could raise sponsorship to make albums, to make videos, to make, it's called the Four Corners Project. And the mission is to reach the Jews scattered to the four corners of the world through music and media.
Ari Goldwag told me that the way he puts out an album is he makes
he
a
does.
GoFundMe
Yes,
page.
He does. Ari Goldwag. Yeah, he does it all
the
time.
If he didn't get help,
he can't do it because nobody buys it.
You spend all this time and money producing an album. One guy buys it, and then they make a copy of it,
right?
And then they.
But we don't want
to.
We don't want to complain and fetch. We shouldn't. It doesn't look good. But I will tell you.
You don't want to complain.
Okay.
That's basically all I want to do. If I didn't have a podcast, I'd be the old guy sitting in the back of the shul saying, "Who let the kids into the kiddush?"
I'm already that guy. I'm ready. What tune is he using for Kedusha?
Yeah,
how did he use that tune?
Does this guy have a watch? You know what time it is?
Can't he at least prepare? He can't prepare his Musaf Kedusha? It's a wedding. Sing some wedding songs during Kedusha.
That's it.
I do that all the time, actually.
Yeah.
My father maybe used to do that too. My father was a chazan, and he worked for the IRS. So he was in both.
So he'd say, you sing that tune again, you're being audited. We're going to take you down.
He actually told me to write a Yedid Nefesh before he passed away. He said, write a new Yedid Nefesh. We were sitting at Shalosh Shudas. I go, Dad, what's wrong with this one? Everybody was doing the standard one. Yedid Nefesh, Avarach, Haman. He goes, I don't like it. Write a new one. So he passed away 2 weeks later, suddenly. One of those, sudden occurrences.
Which one did you write?
I wrote a Yedid Nefesh that came out on an album of mine in 2004. It's Svaradi, it's Mizrahi, because Beit Shemesh, you have a lot of Moroccans, so it has an influence on you, and it was recorded. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful song, and I whenever I go to a community, I teach it, and they learn it. But the greatest thing about the Shlock Rock career is that I've seen the Jewish community.
Yeah. You covered every place.
You remember when we were in Cape Town together?
Sure.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable experience.
It was really unbelievable.
Because you have the opportunity to reach out and to touch souls. And also you learn from them. They tell you stories and that you know.
Now there is a countercurrent in society today against Goyish song parodies. I can think of a couple of people who've gotten into trouble and have been banned because they take Goyish songs and they write English or Yiddish words to it. And
right, well, yeah, that's true.
Without mentioning any names.
No, there's no, we don't have to. But the look, it's your hashkafa. It's hashkafa. What do you?
But you didn't do this to go and have fun at a chasana. You did this to reach people.
No, I never played chasanas. I played I play maybe once. I always used to play like 2 every 3 years, so 1 every year and a half, and that would be, somebody who just asks me because I don't advertise to play weddings. I don't really want to play, but that was why I left Kesher. That was the when Tzvi Pill was a great guy and a great friend, and
yes, he is.
And we were at this crossing, this point where I wanted to be, I wanted to go into concerts, and he wanted to be a chasana band. And I said, I don't want to play chasanas. That's not why I was created. I mean, I don't know why I was created. I mean, what do I know? But this is what my neshama told me.
You use these songs
to teach.
To teach.
Yeah. not only, I mean, I could tell you stories that you wouldn't believe. I mean, that I can't even believe. Like I was in Boca Raton just over the summer. A guy stops me. I was in a supermarket. Guy stops me. It was Lenny Solomon. I used to live in Oakland. I'm relocating to Boca Raton. I owe my Judaism to you. These are my 3 sons, and he takes a selfie.
Wow.
And I've got stories like that.
From song parodies.
No, yes, from song parodies. From song parodies.
You know, the 2 points that I should say in this. First of all, siyata d'shmaya. If a person wants to do Ratzon Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you whatever it is. The Altum Navardik used to say, because I never asked whether or not I could do something. I asked whether something had to be done, and I knew HaKadosh Baruch Hu would give me the koyach to do it.
Right.
And the other thing is that the Zohar Kodesh says that the Shari Nagina are next to the Shari Tshuva. And music speaks to people in a way that's different than words. And you can get away with a message through music that if you speak it, you can't always get.
It's true. And
that's why from now on, I'm going to be singing the podcast. Thanks to the show, and we're happy to have you here.
A great podcast from Rabbi Orlofsky every year.
I hope that you're listening, and you should tell your friends.
And watch it next week, because the fun just never ends. We can keep going.
We can keep going.
But you know that you have to tell this story about how we had this conversation. I was an accountant, and we were at Shabbaton.
And so Lenny was the band. He would come and play. In NCSY, the band used to play this tremendous role because, like, at the end, you'd make Havdalah, and that was, like, the most dramatic presentation of the Shabbos. You would say the Havdalah, and you'd make Havdalah, and then afterwards the band would go, bum, 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 na, 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 na. No,
right.
And you'd have the post Havdalah Ruach.
But you would give the message before. The person in church, you give the message. And the message, I came over to you afterwards because the message was so good.
Life-changing.
I don't remember what it was, but it doesn't matter. And I came to you and I said,
give me money, and somehow it didn't have the impact.
And I went into music. You were one of the...
I was talking about doing what you believe is right.
Right.
And not just... following
the crowd.
I'm giving the same message for 40 years. I haven't really changed. I'm not that creative, and that's it. Follow. You have to do what's right. Don't follow the crowd. The phrase that I always use is, everybody does what everyone does because that's what everybody does.
Right.
And that's true. That certainly was not true in your case.
No.
Nobody did what you did.
No. And I'm still out of the box because I wrote this musical on Sefer Daniel. So why? Because I was in Phoenix, Arizona in 2007, and this guy says to me, have you ever learned Sefer Daniel? No, nobody learned Sefer Daniel. No, of course I haven't learned it. So then I read it, and I said, oh my God, the drama, the action. This is we need to write. And all of a sudden, Hashem opened up this door, and I write like this, by the way. I write songs like this. I wrote 29 songs in 8 weeks. Between March 2012 to May 31st, 2012, I finished a musical called Daniel in Babylon.
You got the Kivchanation there?
Yes, of course.
What's the Kivchanation song?
There's this thing where
this fire is the devil's only friend.
No. So at the end he goes, I see an angel. Nebuchadnezzar sings. I threw in 3, but there are 4 of them. I see an angel, right? And that's the punchline. The leading up to it, when they get thrown into the fire, it's just this conversation in music. What I wrote a rock opera, so there's no talking. Everybody sings one song after another. It's like Les Mis, it's like Evita, and it's like Joseph. Those 3. So I'm trying to, for the last 7 years, I'm trying to make a Hollywood movie. I have a director. Everybody does have a director. You have to have a director. So I have a director. I just need an investor. So that's the one thing I'm doing. It's incredibly difficult. And Hashem spoiled me because...
What does that mean? How much money do you need to make this happen?
$7 million.
If anybody's out there would like to make the Daniel film...
Daniel in Babylon. It's going to change the world. I call it Shlock Rock for the entire world. Now, it's all original music, but it teaches the story of Daniel. The first 6 prakim, you will know everything that happened in the first 6...
Most of your songs are not original music. You do parodies.
Half and half.
Really?
Half and half. For every parody album that I released an original album. And we're up to 39. So the 40th album is going to be an original album.
Lo Yehudi, Ani
Yehudi, right? Big. It was a big...
Lo Yemini, Ani Lo Sfardi, Ani
Yehudi. We got a lot of airplay. Got a lot of airplay in Israel on that. It was like one of the first songs that ever made an impact here, because I made Aliyah 23 years ago. But
I'm a Jew. Who's that? I'm a Jew.
That's Megamaduo.
I'm a
I
son
had
of
nothing to
Abraham.
apologize to you, right? I'm a son of Abraham. I believe in the promised land. Shouldn't you? Shouldn't you? So Diaspora Yeshiva Band and Megamaduo were also a big influence on me.
Right.
Because they were the first, 1975, they were around in 75, in the 80s. I remember seeing them.
And Diaspora, they weren't really a parody band. They came from a real rock band.
Yeah, no, they were original music.
Background, and they just used their koyach to...
Yeah, they didn't write parodies. My Zadie's an original song. My Zadie lived with us in our parents' home. He used to laugh, he'd put me on his knee. That was a great song. That makes everybody cry.
Zadie made us laugh.
That makes everybody cry.
Zadie made us sing.
Tremendous impact. And also, Avram Rosenblum, Diaspora Yeshiva Band. Hafachtem Bisbedidem Acholi. Everybody wanted to play that song.
First chassan I ever did.
Yeah.
I was so nervous because I didn't know what I was doing. And Moshe Shore.
Oh.
He was the chazan.
Right, he wrote it.
So I think he's going to be singing like all the standard, So I'm going over my notes, and all of a sudden I hear a guitar. Bowie kala, Bowie kala, Bowie kala, Bowie kala, and my face turned white. And I just see the whole audience. Bowie kala, Bowie kala. I said, "Oh boy, I have lost control of the room."
You never even had the room.
That's right.
You didn't even get a chance to have the room.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That was unbelievable. We had him at the last convention, the last NCSY convention. They came, Moshe Shore, and whoever from Diaspora he brought with him. So, so you said I did all these concerts till 1996. What happened in 96?
96, I moved to Israel. Now, when I moved to Israel, then I would tour 5-6 times a year, and I would set up concerts. So like Hanukkah, 16 shows, 19 days. Purim. Those are the two big seasons. And then the rest of the year, you kind of treaded water. But that was where I made my big parnasa. And Chabad became my number one employer. That was the most unbelievable thing to me.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden, why? Because you'd go to Montgomery, Alabama, or Birmingham, Alabama, or...
They thought this was Jewish.
And you have to reach out.
They didn't even know.
Well, it's not a matter of what they thought or not, though. How do you talk to somebody who's never experienced any Jewish music? You give them Shlock Rock. Mm-hmm. That speaks to them. And I think that's what happened. The Chabad Shluchim realized that I was like a Chabad person, even though I'm not,
So this went till when? How long did the concert thing keep going?
So, pretty much until last year. At this point, I think
then you can't sell albums anymore. Nobody can sell albums.
No, I don't even bring albums anymore. Now, we do sell downloads, but it's $1 a song. So, okay, great, Oh, we did $40 this month. $40, it was a good month. No complaining. I'm not complaining. I don't want to sound like a bitter musician. No bitter musician.
I'm a bitter speaker. But anyway.
I knew this was going to be a fun show.
Anyway, so then that's it. So then.
So now.
There's no concerts, and there's no albums,
right, so
and there's no.
At this point,
At this
point, you cast your eyes up to Hashem and you say, "Okay, Hashem, what's next?" So we have this not-for-profit organization that I made. That is the Four Corners Project, and it does the same thing that Shlock Rock did, but it does it in a not-for-profit model, so people can sponsor an album or sponsor a video or sponsor a musical.
I've managed to base my whole career on non-for-profit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't make any profit.
Well, I always used to say I've been a not-for-profit musician my whole life.
I once went into a store and said,
"Yeah,
we're a non-for-profit organization. We didn't plan it that way. That's just how it worked out."
Yeah, well, we have
so
we don't have any private jets. This is what you're saying.
So now what you're doing is just trying to get the money to put this film together?
Yeah, the film and also the other projects. Yeah, I have a lot of projects. I want to make a musical called Ramchal the Musical. I want to do that. I want to do a musical.
You understand the irony of that?
That because we are right now.
Nope.
What's the irony?
The irony is that the Ramchal used to write plays.
Yes.
That's the irony.
Yes.
And obviously the plays, when you have a play starring people like Tiferes and Netzach, you know that this ain't, this is not...
and he wrote it in Italian.
They're playing
Didn't
our
he write
song.
it in Italian? Well, he was born in Padua.
Yes, he was.
So I think he must have written it in Italian.
Yeah.
Well, I would.
Oh, sole mio. Anyway, but he obviously used theater as a means to be able to communicate his ideas.
Yes.
And that's why he would very
Yes.
often, he wrote Svarim as a vikuach, where it was like a little hatzaga between two.
Right, that was
the seichel and
right. That's
the
not
das tunis.
Yes, das
Or
tunis.
there's another version of Mesilas Yesharim where it's a dialogue between the chacham and the chassid.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so
he was unbelievable. So I've wanted to do a musical on it for a
Mesilas
while.
Yesharim, the musical.
Mesilas Yesharim, the musical, no, but I would call it Ramchal musical, and I would do his life, and then I guess
Fascinating life.
I know, and tragic because he only lived 39 years.
Yeah.
But,
and those were not easy years.
No, because they couldn't deal with him because of the Shabtai Tzvi coming out of the Shabtai Tzvi door.
Yeah,
you know. But that was his nisayon, I guess, or maybe it was the people's nisayon. They couldn't handle, But well, as I do research into it, and when I write it, I hope one day Hashem will let me write it because really everything happens through Hashem. Oh, I'm getting
Getting religious.
It
happens in the old age.
But it is true. It is true. Nothing happens without Gezerat Elyon. Gezerat Elyon. You need.
We could translate that.
Yes, you need a rubber stamp from God, or else it ain't happening.
Well,
and
you have a Kodesh Baruch. You have wanted to be a vehicle to bring Torah to the people, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave you that opportunity, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I've stood back in awe over the years watching what you've been able to accomplish, and we're looking forward to the movie and to the musical and to all of the other accomplishments. And what can I tell you, Lenny? It was such a privilege to have you here this week, and maybe we'll get together again and we'll have to jam. We
will, and when we jam, I have to present you on behalf of the Shlock Rock organization with the 30th anniversary Shlock Rock T-shirt.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
this is it.
It's not like going to the White House and getting a hockey jersey, but or a baseball jersey. They always give the president his own baseball jersey.
Well, I spoke to Trump's people, and when he comes on, I'm going to get a MAGA hat. So,
is he coming on?
Yeah, he's going to be here. Yeah, he's going to be here. After he's impeached, he'll have a lot more time on his hands. You won't have so much to do. But anyway, so Lenny, it's been a privilege, ladies and gentlemen. Lenny Solomon, Shlock Rock.
Thank you very much.
Jewish institution. And that's it for this week. You can find out more about this show at RabbiOrlofsky.com, where you can make comments, find out about my upcoming event schedule, contact me directly, and if you'd like to sponsor an episode, RabbiOrlofsky.com/podcast. I'm Rabbi Orlofsky.
I'm Lenny Solomon.
And this is the Rabbi Orlofsky Show. That was fun.